You can call or text me anytime.
Oh, okay. We will do that. We'll text you. Okay.
Yes po, Father.
Okay.
Thank you, Father. Thank you,
Okay.
classmates.
Thank you, Attorney. Can now Bantuas, Attorney Bantuas. It's your turn. Can you unmute yourself? Okay.
Hello, good morning, Father. I am Attorney Bantuas from Iligan City.
Oh,
I am connected with Iligan Institute of Technology. It is a state university.
MSU, IIT.
At the same time, I have a concurrent function of being the legal counsel, legal assistant rather. Then I am also an associate lecturer in the College of Business and Administration.
Okay.
So I am looking forward regarding our topic or our subject, the Bangsamoro experience and Islamic law. I have a little knowledge on this subject matter. Then I am looking forward, Father. That's all.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney
Thank you.
Bantuas. Attorney City Habsa. Unmute yourself, please.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning.
I am Attorney City Hafsa di Baratan Giacat from Marawi City. I faculty member of MSU Maine. And then I have 2 kids. I'm married, and my purpose of enrolling this subject is to learn beneficial knowledge from an expert like you, Sir Father. Thank you.
Okay, Attorney Habsa. Now, Attorney Sanawiya Adap. Unmute yourself, okay.
Good morning, Father. Good morning, classmates. I am Sanawiya Yap Adap Maungko. You can call me Wia. I am presently the presiding judge of the 5th Municipal Circuit Trial Court of Lanao del Sur, covering 9 municipalities.
Okay.
I am residing in Marawi City. Thank you.
Good judge. Okay. Now, Attorney Sarah Martin.
Good morning, Father. Good morning, classmates.
Judge, can you unmute? Can you mute yourself, Judge? Okay.
Okay na po, Father.
Okay ka na, Attorney Martin.
Good morning, Father. Good morning, classmates. I am Judge Sarah Marcos Martin of Agno, Pangasinan, near the famous 100 Islands of Pangasinan. Father, yes, Father. Gagaya ng sabi ng ni Taguig Counselor, kung gusto niyang pumunta sa Pangasinan, sabihin niyo lang sa akin.
We will do.
Region 1, Father, Region 1.
Okay.
I was my friend, a judge, also recommended me to take your subject, Father, because 2 years ago, Judge Vida Jimeno, 2 years ago we had a convention at the at a CDO. Yes, Father, and the convention for the trial judges, and I had the opportunity to travel the whole of Mindanao.
Wow.
And I became so in love with the place, and I am just wondering why these people are fighting for autonomy, but in fact the place is so serene, so peaceful, it's so beautiful.
So rich
and then
also.
and it's people. They're so hospitable. I was able to travel to Iligan City, CDO, Del Monte Plantation, and I I fell in love with the place. And I said,
Martin, you're always welcome in Cotabato also. Okay, good.
Thank you, Father.
Okay. Now, Attorney Habib, Attorney Habib, can you unmute yourself, Attorney Habib? Okay.
Good morning, Father. I am Attorney Abdul Bari Habib, and I am currently working at the Mindanao State University as an executive assistant to the system president. And I also teach at the College of Law, mostly civil law subjects.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Now, Attorney Zane, can you unmute yourself? Okay.
Good morning, Father.
Yes.
I am Attorney Fatima Suzanne Disamburon and from Iligan City, and I am currently connected with Commission on Audit Lanao del Norte.
Okay.
That's all po.
Thank you very much. Now, Attorney Subihano.
Good morning, Father. Good morning, classmates. I am Rejoy Subihano. I am the founding partner of the SD Law from Iligan City. My partner is Dean Z. Ditukalan, and I have been in practice for several years now. And it's my first time to be under your class, Dean, and I'm excited to learn from you and from our classmates. Thank you
Okay.
and good morning.
Okay, and the next one will be who is who's the next one? Oh, not spoken yet. Of course, Father Lem, the dean of the College of Law of Misamis University. Can
Hello
you
po.
unmute yourself?
Yes, good morning, Father.
Good morning.
I'm Father Lem Naval. I'm a Catholic priest like Father June. I'm also a lawyer and now um, currently the Dean of Misamis University College of Law and also the legal counsel of the Archdiocese of Osamis as well as other Catholic dioceses here in Mindanao. Pro bono.
Wow, okay, you're pro bono. You're good, really. Okay. Now can we have Attorney Ishak Mangodato, please? Attorney Ishak? Hello? Attorney Ishak, it's your turn now. Okay. Hello? I think his microphone is not working. Joanna, Attorney Joanna, can you do that now? Can you go ahead? Attorney Joanna? Okay,
Good morning, Father.
good morning.
Sorry, I have to stop my video because my internet is unstable here.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes,
I
I'm Joanna C. Alintisicor from Iligan City. I am a faculty member of MSc College of Law, teaching civil law subjects. Like my classmates here, I have a little knowledge of the Bangsamoro. Although I'm a Muslim, Father, but I haven't really delved much on the organic act of the Bangsamoro.
Okay.
So,
Okay, good. Attorney Mangodato, I saw you. Can you arrange your microphone? Okay, Attorney Mangodato. Okay, can you make it louder? Hello? Everybody has spoken? Okay. Maria Ana de Jesus, Attorney Maria Ana de Jesus. You are one of the first one. Hello.
Hi, good morning, Father.
Good morning.
Good morning, classmates. Hi, you can actually call me Attorney Ana de Jesus. I'm based in Makati and I work for the Philippine Dealing System Holdings and PDTC. Yeah. And I'm actually excited about taking this subject because I really don't know anything and I'm very unfamiliar with the Bangsamoro law.
Okay, good. So, who else would like to speak? Everybody has spoken, not yet. We can begin.
Not yet, Father.
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, Father.
Okay.
Good morning, classmates.
Go ahead.
Yes, I am Umukalthom Saidash Umpar from Iligan City. I'm currently connected with Bureau of Internal Revenue, Iligan City. Looking forward, Father, na isama mo kami sa pagpunta mo sa 100 Islands, pati po sa BGC. Sana isama nyo kami. Thank you, Father. That's all.
Okay. Who else would like to speak? Everybody has spoken?
Hi, me, Father. Good morning.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Siti Aisa Muhammad Ali Mabani. I'm from Marawi City, Father, and currently connected as Clerk of Court of RTC1 Iligan City po. Nice meeting you po, Father.
Pleasure meeting you all. I think who else would like to speak? Everybody has spoken.
Father. Good morning, Father.
Yeah, Ishak Momodato. Now you are okay.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning. Go ahead. Ishak, can you say something about yourself? Can you say something about yourself, Ishak?
Yes, Father. Good morning. I am Judge Isaac Mangondato. I am the presiding judge of MCTC Marantao, Lanao del Sur, covering 5 municipalities.
Okay.
I am resident of Poblacion Sagyaran, Lanao del Sur.
Okay.
Thank you, Father.
Okay, good. Thank you. Who else have not spoken? Everybody? Okay, now we begin. Okay. Okay, we begin. Share the screen. That's right. Share screen. Okay. Okay. So, mga tao dito, wala na? Ay, dito. Okay, that's good. Wala ba yung pusang liman? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, can you see the PowerPoint? Okay, everybody sees it. We'll just do a brief historical glimpse of the Moro polity. I know that those people from Marawi and Iligan, they may be familiar, or from Cotabato, like Atty. Abido, may be familiar with the Moro polity. But other people who are from Pangasinan or from Makati or from Manila, they're not familiar with the Moro polity. So this will be the first lecture, so just an introduction. So this will be a historical glimpse. I'll give you an assignment, a reading that will be Bangsamoro Reader. It's a very good periodical published by University of the Philippines to give you at least a summary of that historical glimpse of the Moro polity. Okay, I will try to send it to Princess so that everybody will have access to that article. Okay, so this will be. Okay, how do you next slide? Okay. I think the starting point will be insurgency. The point of departure will be conflict. So it's a long history of conflict that is between the Moro sultanates and the Spanish colonial power based in Manila. Later on, they're based also in Cotabato City and also in Solo. But it's good to situate ourselves within the context of conflict that first and foremost, the failure to incorporate the whole sultanates during the whole Spanish time outside of the few garrisons in the territory of the Bangsamoro. Then the second one is good also. It's our only historical glimpse that when the American came in 1898, the first phase of the coming of the Americans will be the Philippine-American War. This will be the war in Luzon as well as in the Visayas. And the war in Mindanao will come only after the pacification of Luzon and the Visayas. That means when they pacified Luzon and Mindanao and the Visayas, they moved to Mindanao. And prior to this will be the treaty between the Americans and the Sultanate of Sulu, known as the Base Treaty, in order to neutralize the Moro sultanates, the two sultanates, at least the more famous one, and they forming alliance with the Philippine insurrectos or the Philippine rebels. So they were able to do that. They were not able to join at least the Philippine Revolution against the Americans and the Moro. So the Moro sultanates were neutral in the Philippine-American War from 1898 to 1903. So it's only after the pacification of Luzon and the Visayas referring to the rebels, the Philippine rebels against the Americans, that they started to look at Mindanao and will make an attempt to incorporate Mindanao. So this will be a totally different story, as you know very well, that the Americans were able to conquer, inverted commas, of course, the Bangsamoro will be proud to enjoy the title of unconquered, but the truth of the matter is that the Americans were able to penetrate the whole Mindanao, the whole Sultanates, even to the point of abolishing the Sultanates. So that's why the conquest of the Americans of Mindanao, that made possible the integration of Mindanao to the whole national politics. So of course, at the beginning was the creation of the Moro province. We'll not go to that history because our subject matter is simply the Bangsamoro antecedents. This is a glimpse history only, so that you will be able to situate the organization of the Bangsamoro or the Moro polity within that context of rebellion, context of conflict, context of insurgency. So, and context perhaps of a separatist or secessionist war, for the simple reason that they believe that they have never been part of they've never been part of the Philippine Republic. They were given by the Americans to the Philippine Republic without their consent. So that will be the whole background. So that will be, of course, that is a contested claim. But anyway, that is the perception that the Mindanao, particularly the Sultanates, were handed over by the Americans to the Philippine government for the independence, starting with the Commonwealth and with the Third Republic, the Republic of the Philippines. So over the so the most probably the administrative response of the Philippine government to insurgency that will be waged by the Moro National Liberation Front and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and to a certain extent by the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, has always been threefold. The first will be pacification through the military actions. That means use of the military. At one time, two-thirds of the armed forces of the Philippines were Mindanao in the pacification of the Moro, particularly the Moro National Liberation Front. In the first war, that will be the War of the 70s. Then the second stage will be the peace process that included peace negotiation with the representative of insurgents, including peace talk in third countries, and is under the sponsorship of either the Organization of the Islamic Conference or a particular country belonging to the Organization of the Islamic Countries. So that will be the second stage, pacification through the military. The second stage will be peace process, and that means peace talk and negotiation and coming up with the peace agreement. And then the third will be development programs and infrastructures that will be based on the premise that Mindanao is underdeveloped and the whole classic reasons or basis for insurgency will be, number one, will be marginalizations of that particular area or given region, and that result of poverty. Poverty is one of the primary causes of insurgency. So that's why the third stage of Philippine response, administrative response to insurgency, will be introduced development and infrastructures. So actually during the time of Marcos, we will see the massive development of Mindanao and infrastructures, particularly in the old Autonomous Region 9 and the Autonomous Region 12. One is based in Zamboanga, the other one is based in Cotabato City. So you will always find these three, the threefold response of Philippine government to insurgency, and it's still ongoing. So pacification through military actions, actually that is still being used with the terrorists, the so-called terrorists, the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighter and the Abu Sayyaf. The peace process that one conducted with the MNLF and the MILF that led to the peace agreement the peace agreement, final peace agreement in 1996. And then the first peace agreement, of course, will be 1976, the Tripoli Agreement. Then the third peace agreement with the MNLF will be in 1996. And then the peace agreement also with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front in 2014. So peace process that will lead to peace agreements and will lead to legislation, and then the legislation will be leading to the establishment of a political structure that had been agreed upon in the peace agreement. One of those will be the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The president to this is the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. And then before the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao will be the Office of the Regional Governor, and then before the LTP, Lupon Pagbanak ng Pampuok, and then before that also the Regional Autonomous Government, Region 9 and Region 12. And before that also the Office of the Regional Commissions. These are the stages. We will go as far back as the organization of the Regional Commission, because that will be the time of Marcos. So the starting point of this class will be President Ferdinand Marcos, how he responded to rebellion, how he organized the Moro polity. So we'll not go to the time of the Americans anymore. Okay, so we will go as far back as the actions, legislations that happened during the time of President Ferdinand Marcos to the present time. And then later on, the conclusion will be the prospect for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao vis-a-vis the possibility of amending the Muslim Personal Law under Presidential Decree 1083, so Muslim Personal Code, because that is a power given to the Parliament in the Organic Law, Republic Act 11054. So we continue with this glimpse, okay, as an introduction to our class. Okay. So it's good to take note of the differences and the different nuances as regimes occur and come and go in the whole political structure of the Philippine government. So as you know very well that the President of the Republic of the Philippines is extraordinarily powerful. So people say that the President of the Republic of the Philippines enjoys the full power of the Spanish Gobernador General, but at the same time also enjoys the full power of the President of the United States. And the President alone exercising the full power of the executive, both of the Gobernador General during the time of the Spanish period and of the President of the United States during the time of the Americans. So these are all integrated in our Constitution, so you'll be a super president. So because of this, that the President's orientation, the President's ideology, the President's mood vis-a-vis insurgency definitely will be manifested in the different legislation as well as structures that follow. So there are different regimes that we will study. The first will be that of Ferdinand Marcos, then followed by the EDSA Revolution, Corazon Aquino, the 1987 Constitution, including the Article 10. You are familiar with the Article 10 that created the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. And then under Gloria Fidel Ramos with the peace process with the Moro National Liberation Front, that amended the Republic Act 6734, now Republic Act 9054. And then Joseph Estrada, of course, that will be all-out war against the Moro Islamic Liberation Front in the year 2000. Then the resumption of the peace talks during the time of Gloria Arroyo. And then Nonoy Aquino, of course, will conclude the peace process with the 2014 peace agreement with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. And now President Rudy Duterte, the establishment of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. So we will cover this presidency, the era of the different regimes rather of these presidents, and how they adopted, how they confront the so-called Bangsamoro issue, and the different policies that they inaugurated to address the conflict in Southern Philippines, particularly if we start with the triple agreement, the 13 provinces in southern Philippines and all cities therein, that was reduced to 4 provinces and all cities therein. Then it was expanded again to 5 provinces and all cities therein. And now with the Bangsamoro will be 5 provinces and all cities therein, plus all the barangays in North Cotabato, about 60 barangays in North Cotabato. So you will see as presidency comes and goes, they have left their imprint or legacy in the moral polity. So that will be good. So when we speak of the future, perhaps even now, the perception is that perhaps you'll find a solution from the broad range of regional autonomy to a federal state within the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of the Philippines and subject to the constitutional processes. As a matter of fact, these are the 3 very important elements in the peace process conducted beginning with President Marcos to the present presidency of Rodrigo Duterte. The 3 will be, it will be within the sovereignty of the Republic of the Philippines, the territorial integrity of the Republic of the Philippines, that means the rejection of any kind of secessionist movement, and then it is subject to constitutional processes. Those are the 3. So these are unspoken, but they regulate all the peace processes, beginning with President Marcos with the Tripoli negotiation and Tripoli agreement to the latest agreement with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, though no mention of the Constitution and the struggle for secession of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. But these 3 are always there. These are given, and I suppose they are sacrosanct in the sense that any kind of peace solution, any kind of dealing with moral polity should be always within the sovereignty of the Republic of the Philippines. That is the first. The second is that there will be no dismemberment of the archipelago of the Philippines, the territorial integrity. That's why they keep watching on the coverage of the autonomy, and then always maintain the integrity of the territorial integrity of the Republic of the Philippines. And always, any kind of agreement should be subject to constitutional processes. It is for this reason that after legislation, they have to conduct the plebiscite, because the plebiscitary consent of the governed will be one of those basic necessity in these are given the constitutional processes. So you will notice that from the Triple Agreement of 1976 to the BARMM legislation, Republic Act 11054, they all were subjected to the constitutional processes, the plebiscitary consent of the governed, and then the inclusion of their area into the whole regional autonomy setup or the structure. So anyone from whether lawyers or non-lawyers, political scientists, will always take the 3 as given. So though perhaps many Moro political scientists will question the sovereignty of the Republic of the Philippines, because they do claim that the negotiation of the Moro Islamic, of even the Moro National Liberation Front, will be sovereignty based. The autonomy they're looking for, the political structure that they would like to have in the Bangsamoro, will always be seen within the framework of sovereignty base. Because the Philippine, but on the other hand, the Philippine government will always deny that it is a sovereignty-based negotiation, because it is not a sovereign nation that they are negotiating with, but rather it's part and parcel of the Philippine Republic. So the sovereignty, that means sovereignty, the Republic of the Philippines. Similarly, also the territorial integrity is a given, so it is not touched in any kind of negotiation. That of course the first establishment of the territorial integrity will be, they call the treaty limits and the Treaty of Paris of 1898. Then later on you have also the what we call the historical claim, and that will be the Sultanate of Sulu and North Borneo. So that it will also be based on what we call the traditional, or what we call historical claim. That's why the Philippine government continues to claim North Borneo, which is now Sabah, and precisely because it belongs to the Sultanate of Sulu and North Borneo. So that will be the historical claim. The other one will be the treaty territory. But nevertheless, in our constitution, that's why they look whether the historical claim is included, or and then the treaty limits that was established in the Treaty of Paris of 1898 are part and parcel. So in any kind of negotiation, in any kind of consideration of moral polity, the territorial integrity of the republic is a sacrosanct subject. Okay. Of course, the other one, the third one, as I was stated already, is that it should be following the constitutional processes laid down in the present constitution, that is 1987. Similarly, also during the time of President Marcos in the 1976 peace agreement, the peace agreement will be according to the constitutional processes that will be the constitution of 1972-73. So in any agreement, in any settlement, any kind of organization, post-agreement should be always subject to constitutional processes. So those are the three, which is very important in examining the moral polity. Okay, so historical flashback. This we can go through this. It's historical flashback. As I said, the article that I will send you will be more detailed. As I said, this is only a glimpse. It's not a class. So mark the date. 30 October 1899, the military district of Mindanao, Jolo, and Jolo U.S. Army Department of the Pacific, 8th Army Corps created the provinces of Cotabato, Davao, Lanao, Misamis, Surigao, Sulu, and Zamboanga. These are what we call the macro provinces created by the Americans, you see. And many people actually will look into this in terms of formation of state in inverted comma for Mindanao, in the later on configuration of federal state of Mindanao, and that perhaps the autonomous province of, that is the Empire Province of Cotabato, the Empire Province of Davao, the Empire Province of Lanao, the Empire Province of Misamis, and the Empire Province of Surigao, Sulu, and Zamboanga will be connected. So that will be good. These are more viable in terms of perhaps of the sub-state in the federal state of Mindanao as part of the prospect that we will study later on. But these are all subdivided into many provinces now. The province of Cotabato, the Empire Province of Cotabato, will be as big as Central Luzon for people in Luzon and Visayas, so that you will know Cotabato is was the biggest province during the time of the Americans and during the time of the Third Republic also. Prior to the division of Cotabato, the beginning of division was in 1966. When I came to Cotabato in 1965, it's still undivided. So that's why, of course, the seat will be Cotabato City. The Bundok will be South Cotabato. It's now the reverse. But under Dato Ugtug Matalam, you see, during the time of 1966, when the Americans will come to Cotabato, and they will ask, how far is the Jangas from Cotabato City? Because the airport is in Cotabato City. No airport yet in any part of Cotabato except Cotabato City. So that will always say to the American visitors will be, it will be simple. Good morning, Cotabato. Good afternoon, Dadyangas. I mean, if you leave Cotabato in the morning, you arrive in Dadyangas in the afternoon. However, if you meet a breakdown along the road, it will be good morning, Cotabato, breakdown, good evening, Dadyangas. So Dadyangas is the old name of General Santos. Okay. Similarly, also, the Empire Province of Davao is second biggest province also after Cotabato. This will be comprising now of Davao Sur, Davao Norte, Davao City, and Compostela, or what don't know the new name now. Lanao is a small, Lanao Sur and Lanao Norte. Misamis will be the whole big chunk of Misamis Oriental, Misamis Occidental, if I'm not mistaken. Surigao will include Agusan. So Sulu and Zamboanga, the peninsula of Zamboanga, consisting of 3 provinces. So we will look into this as part of the prospect in terms of a sub-state in the federal state of Mindanao. Perhaps that will be coming when we adopt the federal constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, but that will be on the prospect. Okay. The next date will be very important also, will be July 15, 1903. As I said earlier, after the pacification of Luzon and the Visayas, the American troops now are free, or were free, to go and pacify Mindanao and conquer Mindanao. So first and foremost, they created the Moro province. This is very interesting. You see the Moro province. Of course, my good friend Nuru Misawari would like the Moro province to be a federal state in the federal Mindanao. You see, that's another one. There will be two federal states in Mindanao, the Moro province and the northern Mindanao. But that will be again in the prospect. You see, the Moro province will be consisting of the provinces enumerated in the Triple Agreement. So that means 13 provinces and all cities therein. It's good to come up with a glimpse of history because they come back. They're still coming back. You see, in the federal state of Mindanao, in the two Mindanao formula, the Moro province is a federal state, a sub-state of the federal state of Mindanao that will be consisting of 13 provinces and all cities therein. If you see the map of Mindanao, you cut the whole Mindanao into half. That means Bukidnon, anything lower of Bukidnon will be the Moro province. Anything up of Bukidnon will be that of northern Mindanao. So this will be the two proposed sub-state, you see, of the federal state of Mindanao, northern and southern Mindanao. They come back, you see. So first it was ruled by military governor, later on by civilian governor. So then this is good because as soon as they pacified the Moro, the pacification of the Moro actually ended in 1913. That means they were able already to put the whole Sultanate of Sulu under the government of the United States, based in of course, Manila, but the military governor for the Moro province based in Zamboanga. And they were able to pacify also the Sultanate of Maguindanao, including Lanao. It will be the whole pacification. So that's why they say we will now abolish the Moro province. In 1914, the Organic Act for the Department of Mindanao. So they created the Department of Mindanao and Sulu. So this is very important, you see. So actually, again, they would like to go back to the old Mindanao, Department of Mindanao Sulu. When you speak of statehood or federal state, the federal state of Mindanao will be comprising of the Department of Mindanao Sulu and of course the powers enjoyed by the Mindanao Sulu Department in the Organic Act of 1914. It's a very powerful department established by the Americans in 1914. So the abolition of the Moro province, that is only a portion of Mindanao. Now it was integrated to the whole Mindanao. Now it's all one Mindanao. And this is perhaps the ideology behind the formation of one Mindanao. All my dogs are making a lot of noise, you see. So one Mindanao. So again, you see, you can trace back these present struggles of people, the ambitions of people, and then the aspirations of people at the present, because there is a concrete precedent. There is a precedent for the 13 provinces, which is the Moro province. There is a precedent also for one Mindanao, which is the Department of Mindanao and Sulu. So it's not something new why people aspire to establish again one Mindanao. That becomes the ideology now of people who propose a federal constitution, including the revolutionary government that is now in the air. That is one Mindanao. We are belonging to one Mindanao, and that is the territory. But there is a concrete precedent also in the past, the Department of Mindanao and Sulu. However, again, if you move forward, it is only a look back during the time of the American period. In 1920, the Department of Mindanao and Sulu will be abolished too, because everybody now will, as you know very well, we are unitary. We've adopted unitary system of government, and everything is centralized in Manila. So all the departments will be based in Manila. So that means that would be the end of the Mindanao aspiration for self-rule, self-determination, as well as to chart our own destiny, particularly in our local affairs. While there are historical precedent to this, but that was put an end in 1920 when they reestablished a strong central government which is based in Manila in preparation, I suppose, in preparation for the independence of the Philippines, starting with the Commonwealth. Because, as you know very well, the big struggle during the time of Commonwealth will be Quezon and the particular people in Mindanao that Quezon will not adopt the federal state of the United States, but he would like the federal government that is one central government, but no state government, you see. But that will be Quezon and Company. And the whole reason given then will be of the archipelagic nature of the Philippines, that we are already divided in region, languages, and culture. And if we will adopt the federal system of the United States, it will be creating more division. Of course, that will be Quezon and Company. For people in Mindanao, they always aspire to have their own self-determination in their local affairs. They would like to adopt the federal system of the United States. So you have you have the central federal system, and you have also the state system. So, but anyway, that did not happen because Quezon and Company won the day, and we have a unitary system. And this will be the reason why we have a highly centralized government. So in the Philippines, and however, for the people of Mindanao, and this is the reason why they voted on President Duterte, that Duterte always campaigned for federalism and always campaigned for Mindanao. And finally, people of Mindanao thought that they will achieve their aspiration under the administration of President Duterte. But this is not happening, as you know very well. Though President Duterte created the Constitutional Commission under CJ Puno, but the so-called Bayanihan Constitution, but it lost steam in the second year of President Duterte, and they're trying to revive the amendment to the Constitution, but it's not the revision. The amendment just to liberalize the economy, the investment in the Philippines, but there's no talk of constitutional revision. That means going to federalism. Now I'll just go through it, the different settlements, why there are many settlers in Mindanao. So I just go through it. I will give you a copy of this, so I will just go through it. So this will be the division of the macro provinces I've stated earlier. So the creation of this. First, the Llano Empire province was divided into two, Llano del Norte, Llano del Sur. That is Republic Act 2228, that is in 1959, that is much earlier than Cotabato. The Empire province of Cotabato first was divided into two by Republic Act 4849 and 1966. I was here already when they divided Cotabato, so I have the memory, the real memory of Cotabato being the Empire province, because I came here in 1965. So it was one Cotabato, but now there are many Cotabatos. The first division was between North and South Cotabato. South Cotabato being Christian, North Cotabato being Muslim. That was the perception in 1966. So South Cotabato will be under Sergio Morales, Christian, the vice governor of that Tugmatalam. North Cotabato became part and parcel of that Bangsamoro. So North Cotabato will be the provinces subdivided by Marcos in 1973. So the provinces will be North Cotabato, Maguindanao, and Sultan Kudarat. Under Presidential Decree 341, that is 1973. So you see that also the divisions of Davao, the division of Misamis, the division of Surigao, and the division also of South Cotabato in the two provinces of Sarangani and South Cotabato, and all cities therein. So this is the first. Most probably now we move now to the president of the Bangsamoro, and this is very interesting. So the negotiation between the Philippine government and the Moro National Liberation Front began in 1973. So if you happen to be interested in the history of Mindanao, and prior to 1975, the book of General, I forget now the general there, not General Caso, Abad, General Fortunato Abad, we nearly lost Mindanao, but referring to Cotabato, the full battle between the Philippine government and the MNLF. You see, it was General Abad, the establishment of the Central Command, that was put in control of the entire province of Cotabato, including Zamboanga, in order to tie the Muslim insurgency in the early 70s. The first period of the Moro Rebellion, that is in the early 70s, up to 1976, the conclusion of that peace negotiation and concluding it with the Triple Agreement. But prior to that, even prior to the Triple Agreement that established the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, Mr. Marcos already conceived of an autonomy, but this will be under a commission. He divided already two commissions, one for Region 9 and one for Region 12. This will be constituting the 10 provinces. That means one is based 9 based in Zamboanga, and Region 12 will be based in Cotabato. And this will be the letter of instruction 290 and Presidential Decree 742. There are laws. You see, Marcos had the power to legislate during the time of martial law. So two laws were proclaimed by Marcos, and two regional commissions were established. Rear Admiral Romulo Espadon became the regional commissioner for 9. Many people in Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, and Zamboanga still look to the time of Espadon, because to them that Espadon will be the period of integrity, service, and development and infrastructure. He created also the whole Kabatangan complex. That became the office of the regional government 9. Similarly, also in Region 12, that means again 5 provinces and all cities therein. That means the 2 Lanaos, all the Cotabatos will be except for South Cotabato, will be under Simeon Datumanong, Attorney Simeon Datumanong, who was represented for a long time. He became the regional commissioner for Region 12. So they enjoy, see, in that letter of instruction, a delegated powers of the President of the Republic. And this is during time of martial law. That means they enjoy real power. Marcos delegated the power to Espadon as well as to Datumanong. So it is something, it's a delegated power during the time of martial law. So I live under this regional office commission. As a matter of fact, many people thought that this will be better because they enjoyed it. Of course, it's a delegated power, not what you call part and parcel of a legislation, wherein they enjoy the powers enumerated, you see, in the law. Here, the powers are not enumerated, but whatever is delegated by the president, they enjoyed. And it was during the extraordinary means, emergency time. So they become very powerful. Those communities became very powerful. Okay. So, and then what is important, the turning point will be the Triple Agreement of 1976. That is December 23. TA stands for Triple Agreement. So that is December 23, 1976. As a matter of fact, I still remember, I've been part of all this negotiation, by the way, from the Triple Agreement, very old, you see. So, full war actually happening before the Triple Agreement. And then after the Triple Agreement, that was the time of great rejoicing, because we thought that would be the end of the war. And then finally, Marcos conceded to give self-determination, that means governance in local affairs, to the autonomous region as prescribed by the Triple Agreement. And then if you look at the Triple Agreement, it's good to review the Triple Agreement. There will be three very powerful provisions there. The first provision is grant of autonomy of the 13 provinces and all cities therein. So autonomy given, see. And then second will be the powers exercised by the autonomy, though the details will be to be negotiated later on, because in every provision there will be to be negotiated later on by a mixed committee between the Philippine government and the Moro National Liberation Front. And the third, of course, is settled by Marcos that all arrangements will be subjected to constitutional processes. So the three are very important. However, that is a turning point because there was no major engagement, military engagement from December 23, 1976. So what happened? There was a big discussion on the triple agreement. Hence, there will be a big discussion on the implementation of the triple agreement. So at one time, because of the provision of constitutional processes, the MNLF reneged, or rather saw at that time that the grant of the autonomy to the 13 provinces will be derailed. You see, it will no longer be 13 provinces and no cities therein. So lo and behold, in the referendum, of course, called April 17, in the 13 provinces, 3 provinces, of course, refused to join, and all cities therein. This will be South Cotabato, Davao del Sur, and Palawan. So they were no longer included in the 13 provinces. Yeah, it used to be Minsupala. And Miswari until now will be claiming the Mindanao, Sulu, Palawan. So in the federal state of Mindanao, the proposed federal state of Mindanao, it will be also Minsupala, Mindanao, Sulu, Palawan. Oh, there's some romantic connection between Mindanao, Sulu, and Palawan, and it's still alive. See, as I said, the things that happened in the past, they shape also our present consciousness that in the future arrangement, there will be a Federal Republic of Mindanao, not Federal Republic, but Federal State of Mindanao. It will be inclusive of Palawan. So Minsupala is still alive. So it's very much alive in the mind of Miswari, my good Maas. Okay. So 1977, 13 provinces, only 10 provinces opted to be part of the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So that is very important. So here is in 1970, following Mr. Marcos proclaimed, has a presidential proclamation 1628, and established the provisional government of the 13 provinces. That is prior to the referendum. And the chief minister or the head, the governor will be Ali de Maporo. So, but anyway, after the referendum, it will be 13 provinces. And then it will be subdivided into Region 9 and Region 12. So now that will be based on the 1917 plebiscite. So President Marcos approved the creation of Sangguniang Pampog. This is the LTP that will be in 1977. So, but no, 3 provinces voted no. So South Cotabato, Davao del Sur, and Palawan. So people rejected the merger of 13 provinces because there was one autonomous region in the triple agreement. So they don't agree. So it's still alive today, you see, because now it is one Bangsamoro, one autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. But people in Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, they said no, they always want 2 autonomous region, and there were like also 2 Bangsamoro. So it's still alive today, you see. It's always the tension between one Bangsamoro, one Mindanao, and then one autonomous region and 2 autonomous regions. You see, the island provinces will like to have their own, and that will be based in Zamboanga. And people here in the mainland Mindanao, or excluding Zamboanga, Peninsula of Zamboanga, they would like to have base in Cotabato. So that is very important. So it's alive today. So this is alive. This is very good. So now that will be the political structure. Political structure, as I said, the threefold responses of the Philippine government will be military, of course, that is given. And then the other one will be the peace process, the one I have discussed earlier. And the third one will be the economic component, that will be the development of the Southern Philippines. There are two instruments for the development of Southern Philippines during the time of Mr. Marcos. The first one will be the Southern Philippines Development Authority, and then the second one for the indigenous people will be the PANAMIN. That is the President Assistance for the National Minority. This will be under Elizalde, of course, Secretary Elizalde. SPDA will be appointed by the President. Okay. So that is in 1978. You see, 1977, immediately 1978, the establishment of the Philippine Development Authority by President Marcos. Remember that this is good because even in the peace agreement of 1996, they focus on economic component wherein the language use, the whole ZOPAD, that is Zone of Peace and Development, consisting of 13 provinces, they will see real development because the language focus of intense development and infrastructure. So precisely because this is a recognition of the underdevelopment and the recognitions of poverty also in the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. So the SPDA will be the instrument to bring in development and given the power also to come with all economic planning. This is directly under the President, Office of the President, and then during the time of Marcos, Minister of Finance, and then Director General of NEDA will be part of the SPDA to have a real development plan for Mindanao, the development of Southern Philippines. So with that, we have completed the Marcos model for the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. So we have the political, okay, and then you have economic, and you have also the military. Again, responding to the threefold responses of any administration to the problem of the moral polity. So I will pause here. So, okay, we will have a brief pause. Now we have concluded with the Marcos model. Some people say it's a very good model, you see, particularly if you add that Mr. Marcos gave also the PD 1083, the personal code, the personal law of the Muslim, that is during the time of Marcos also 1083. So with that, you have a complete Marcos model in responding to the desire of the Bangsamoro to have their self-determination and to have their own territory to govern their local affairs, but of course within the sovereignty, integrity of territorial integrity, and the constitution of the Philippine government. So those are the given. So, okay, we will stop here for a while. Okay, do you have any question or break? We will have a break. Okay, unless you have some questions, you see. If you want to ask questions, you just unmute yourself, okay? Who would like to speak? Oh, those people from Mindanao, of course, they are familiar with this history. That's why we just go through it. So it's break. Break time. I'm taking my coffee now. Okay. So many people thought that Mr. Marcos a good solution to the Bangsamoro issue or Bangsamoro problem. So it was clear and it was running very well prior to the EDSA revolution. So as a matter of fact, even Sullivan then in his criticism of Cory that he said that Cory revived the whole Moro rebellion by meeting Miswari in Jolo. The perception then was that everything was completed and it was a good model, the Marcos model. So I'll just summarize the Marcos model, okay? The first will be, of course, the military action during the time of martial law as the triple responses of government. The second one was the peace process, establish of course, that will be based on the triple agreement. And then the two autonomous structure, Region 9 and Region 12, and they empowered the two regions. And you have also big territory, 10 provinces and all cities therein. So they all used to know, can we go back to the 10 provinces? You see, that is a big question mark, you see, because this will be greatly reduced during the time under President Corazon Aquino. So under Mr. Marcos, you have a sizable territory, more or less, more of the more, less than of the less, that you have the old Moro province there in the time Marcos formula. However, two autonomous region, 9 and 12. And this is still the discussion today. Sakurtan, Governor of Sulu, would like to have their own sub-autonomous region based in Zamboanga that will be Sulu and Tawi-Tawi and Basilan. But anyway, they think that that is indeed a good territory given by the regime of Mr. Marcos to govern 10 provinces and all cities therein. So, by the way, those from illegal, you are part of that. Lano del Sur and Lano del Norte and all cities therein. So, similarly also, Cotabato City. Anyway, Cotabato City is part of the BARMM. But for the past two referenda, they were not part of the BARMM. So, North Cotabato will be part of the autonomous region during the time of of, of, of Mr. Marcos. Southern Kudarat will be part also of the province of the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So only 3 provinces of the 13 provinces stipulated in the triple agreement and cities therein that were excluded in the autonomous setup by Mr. Marcos. That will Cotabato South, South Cotabato, Davao del Sur, and Palawan. And cities therein, that means Puerto Princesa, General Santos, and Digos, you see. So, but anyway, so the main chunk of the territory were included, though there were 2 autonomous regions, 9 and 12. So many people think, baka tama yun kay Marcos eh, hindi mo talaga dapat pagsamahin. Kasi yung kay Mr. Marcos respecting also the Sultanate of Maguindanao and the Sultanate of the Island Provinces, the Sultanate of Sulu. Kaya sabi nila ba, mukhang mas historical yung kay Mr. Marcos. Mahirap pagsamahin talaga yung, yung Region 9 and Region 12. That will be very contentious. But anyway, EDSA revolution, Cory took over as president of the republic. She became the president of what we call revolutionary government. She could have created the commitment down ni Ninoy Aquino to Miswari. That means restoring the 13 provinces by simple decree like Mr. Marcos. Remember that all those setups were created by decree because Marcos enjoyed full legislative power as well as executive power, which was true also from February of 1986 to February 1987. So Corazon Aquino for that year enjoyed full executive power and full legislative power. So the contention then is that she could have created, you see, at that time, continue the Marcos setup before the Constitution of 1987. But that is what we call bridge underwater. Hindi man ginawa, ano? Though, to give credit to where credit belongs, they said that Corazon Aquino, President Corazon Aquino, made attempts. As a matter of fact, she consulted different justices of the Supreme Court then na the possibility of creating that one autonomous region. And she was advised that there will be no legal impediment since this was subjected to referendum already. So, and she was enjoying full legislative as well as executive powers. She could go ahead. So, in the panel created by Corazon Aquino to renegotiate rather the setup with Nur Miswari, Moro National Liberation Front, they are convinced that Corazon Aquino could do it and they are willing to do it. But they would like to stick to the 10 provinces and all cities therein. But they are open to create one autonomous setup consisting of Region 9 and Region 12. So, as a matter of fact, Governor Candao was first appointed as one regional governor for the autonomous region in Region 9 and Region 12 from 86 to 87. So, there was an attempt of Corazon Aquino to merge the two regions into one and create that powerful area of autonomy through her legislative power. And according to some legal minds at that time, there will be no impediment since these were already subjected to a constitutional processes. So the main objection will be my good friend Nur Miswari. I was told by the head of the panel, who became very close friend of mine, this will be Secretary Ting Jaime, Vicente Jaime. So we became very close because we were all both NAMPREL and we worked together during the 1986. So there were the imminent grease of NAMPREL. I was included in that imminent grease of NAMPREL. So she told me about the whole narrative of the initiative of Corazon Aquino that my good Maas didn't like the 10 provinces. He would like to include the 3 provinces of South Cotabato, Davao Sur, and Palawan. And since Corazon Aquino enjoyed full power, legislative power, as well as executive power, Nur Miswari insisted that they be included. But the government did not. So, because of the 3 provinces, nawala yung 10 provinces. See, what will happen is that this will be reduced to 4 provinces. So, the 1987 Constitution was promulgated by Corazon Aquino. And in that Constitution, in Section 10, provided for autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So now you have a name, autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, Muslim Mindanao. So that name alone is very divisive. So many people question, what do you mean by Muslim Mindanao? Do you mean to say that Muslim Mindanao, the inhabitants will be Muslims? That means it will be Muslim rule? So those are the questions raised at that time in the 1987 Constitution debate. Why not use the language used by the Triple Agreement, which is Southern Philippines? So that means religion is not included in the division of geography. But the present Constitution in 1987, the geography as an adjective, that is Muslim Mindanao. So do you mean say you have 2 Mindanao? Mindanao, and then the other one is Muslim Mindanao. So it was translated as Muslim Mindanao means the areas inhabited by majority Muslims. So if you do that, immediately you reduce the coverage of the Muslim Mindanao. So at that time, there were only 4 provinces that have majority Muslim population. That will be the province of Maguindanao, the province of Lanao del Sur, the province of Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. Those provinces will be what you call in the margin of all kind of development. That means you are putting and lumping together all those underdeveloped provinces and come up with autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. Well, the progressive province like the peninsula of Davao, the whole Davao pala hindi included, Zamboanga, the Zamboanga Peninsula will be excluded. So Sultan Kudarat will be excluded. North Cotabato will be excluded. Lanao del Norte will be excluded, and all cities therein. So just a simple word, Muslim Mindanao, automatically you exclude other provinces that are more progressive, more developed, and reducing the autonomous region into backward provinces, and they are found in the 10 poorest provinces in the Philippines. So they say, oh, that will be doomed to failure. How can that be sustainable? That will be totally dependent on the national government. So the bright boys that wrote the 1987 Constitution immediately created a geography based on, put it inverted commas, religion, Muslim Mindanao. So many people in Sultan Kudarat province, as well as North Cotabato, Lanao del Norte, including all cities therein, because Iligan also, Cotabato City, at that time were Christians. This is our way out from the autonomous region. So it becomes a shoot for them to not be part of this initiative to create a political structure, moral polity, respecting self-determination as well as their homeland. So one word, and it spells a lot of difference. That's why you pay attention to words. Sometimes words kill, or sometimes words give life. So Muslim Mindanao immediately will reduce that configuration, the geographical configuration of the autonomous region in southern Philippines. So Mr. Marcos will be autonomous region in southern Philippines following the Triple Agreement. The Triple Agreement did not mention of Muslim Mindanao, but autonomous region in southern Philippines. The Philippine Constitution of 1987 mention of Muslim Mindanao. And part and parcel of the Constitution also is creating Mindanao Regional Consultative Commission that will help draft the Organic Act for Muslim autonomy and to be submitted to Congress. So that's part of the Constitution. And to cut the whole story short, so actually the Mindanao Regional Consultative Commission were not able to vote on the draft, so they did not come up with the draft Organic Act. That means backed by the Consultative Commission. It will divide the whole commission because, as I said, the word Muslim Mindanao is very divisive. So the whole discussion in that Mindanao Consultative Commission will be very divided along religion and ethnicity. It is for this reason that they were not able to come up with a draft for Organic Act for the Muslim Mindanao. So to cut the whole story short, they said that the Philippine government relied on the bright boys of UP and to come up with the draft of the Organic Act that really became part and parcel of the law of the land, that is the Republic Act 6734, or the Organic Act for the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Now that will be following the constitutional processes that will be subjected to plebiscite, and only those geographical areas, provinces, and cities that voted favorably will be included to the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So the conclusion is almost predicted at that time. I was here already campaigning, you see. So now, oh my God, what will happen? You see, that means Muslim Mindanao will be reduced to 4. And that will be Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, Sulu, and Tawita. Basilan was not a province then yet. So that means 4 provinces. As a matter of fact, in the first plebiscite, Marawi City did not also vote yes. So they were excluded into the first autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So very funny, because Marawi at that time is already declared as the Islamic City of Marawi. And then the Islamic City of Marawi did not join the Muslim autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. For what reason? Some people say that it's not powerful enough, it's not Muslim enough, but they did not join the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, and they joined Region 10. So like Lanao del Norte, Iligan, they joined Region 10. So they were not part of the ARMM under Republic Act 6734. Cotabato City, North Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, and all cities there in North Cotabato and Sultan Kudarat voted no. So that means they were not included also in the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao under Republic Act 6734. And of course, Davao. Sorry, ako po Zamboanga, I keep on mentioning Davao. Zamboanga Peninsula, that means then was the Zamboanga del Norte, Zamboanga del Sur, dito Zamboanga. Wala pa yung the third Zamboanga. And Zamboanga City, the big Zamboanga City, voted no, including Pagadian, voted no. So all cities therein voted no. So they were excluded also in the establishment of the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So in that plebiscite, the 10 provinces and all cities therein were reduced to 4 provinces that consisted the first autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So grabe ho, grabe, no? Bigla na lang parang more than two-thirds o kaya three-fourths of the autonomous region 9 and region 12 were removed. And then you are left with 4 provinces, and they are the 4 poorest provinces in the Philippines. Sabi ko, sus, Mariosep naman, that will be a formula for disaster and a formula also for, it will not be sustainable. And it will not be sustainable. So that's it. So under Republic Act 6734, only 4 provinces were included. So that means the province of Maguindanao, at that time no city, until now no city, the province of Lanao Sur, excluding Marawi City, and Sulu, and the province of Tawi-Tawi. So that's it. So sabi ko, oh my God, though they were given much power under Republic 6734, but you are given only 4 poorest provinces, you cannot go very far. That means this autonomous setup will be completely dependent on the national government for subsidy. So, yan ako yung sinabi ko, 4 of the 13 provinces of the Triple Agreement now form part of the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. The Cory model. So you have the Marcos model and you have the Cory model. That is Corazon Aquino model. So in July 1980, inauguration of the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao, the first election, Kaya nga huwag kayong matatakot sa election kasi debatable ngayon whether there'll be election in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. Whether we're going to conduct the first election under Republic Act 11054. Doon panahon ni Corazon Aquino in 1990, they were not afraid to conduct the first election under Republic Act 6734. So now, similarly also, Ramos naman, yung Ramos model, election also under Republic Act 9054. So mga law, with election, So now, ganun din ang problema natin. You are facing what we call the specter of a problematic thing, whether to conduct or not to conduct election in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region under Republic Act 11054. But Corazon Aquino, with political decision and with the full agreement, and then in the plebiscite as well as in the Congress conducted the first election July 9, 1990 for regional governor, vice governor, and regional assembly. So that is very, very important, So, and after that election, of course, the Muslim Mindanao, 1991. Of course, that is in hand with the local government code. Nagkaroon mga complication, So the local government, the Republic Act 7160 gave autonomy to all LGUs, Sabi nila, mas maganda pa yung autonomy ng LGUs rather than the autonomy given to us by 6734. So you have ambiguity also, you see, of perceptions. So in outside of the arm, then they can go directly to Manila, including the budgetary allocation, including the ERA. But of course, ERA is always direct to the national government. But now you have another tier of bureaucracy, which is the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So the 4 provinces were complaining, parang better off yung provinces not under the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao because they can go directly to Manila. There's no other tier of bureaucracy. Kaya nagkaroon to ng mga ambiguity on the relationship between the autonomous region and the national government, complicated by Republic Act 7160, which is the local government code, granting autonomy to local government. So, sabi ba ka pa mag-autonomy? LG naman is autonomous naman. Binigay na ng local government code. So that is the Cory model. See, Cory model. So it's good. So the Cory model will be part of the Constitution. Nur Miswari objected to constitutionalize the Moro setup. Up to last minute before the referendum, he would like to remove that particular section of Article 9 in the Constitution for the simple reason that if you vote on it on the Constitution, that is a nationwide plebiscite, they don't know what are those provisions. So, and then you put it in a box. If you constitutionalize the autonomy, put it that in Constitution, you put it in a box. So that is the argument of MNLF. So he worked against the constitutionalizing the autonomous region in Article 9 of the present Constitution. Parang tama ko si Nur Miswari doon, ano? And so he objected to the portion of the Constitution that regulated or provided for the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. Kasi nga, limited na agad Muslim Mindanao, wala ng Southern Philippines, and then lahat na yun, reason ni Nur Miswari. So, but anyway, kay Cory, that becomes part and parcel of the Constitution, so they are regulated now by the Constitution. That is very important. Okay, that is Cory model for provinces. Because of that, yung conflict continues. Rebellion continues because this was rejected by the MNLF. During the time of Mr. Marcos, the Cory model, the Moro rebellion were divided into 2. Those pro-regional autonomy under Marcos and those thousands of Balikbayan troops that came back to the fold of law under Mr. Marcos. And then they were given much economic privileges and benefits. So that's it. Under Cory model, they felt it was very much reduced. So anyway, that is the Cory model. So it is not solved yet. The whole thing is short. The struggle continues. Okay. No. Do you have any question? Stop for a while. Okay. That is the Cory model, the antecedent. Do you have any question on the Cory model? Any question on the Cory model? So you have now the Marcos model and the Cory model. Any question? Those from Iligan and those from Marawi, do you have any question on the Cory model because they are affected by the Cory model? Iligan. Those from Iligan. You're not part of the autonomous region Muslim Mindanao in the Cory model. You've been out. You become part of Region 10. So Marawi out also because they'll be included in the FDR era. Marawi City was excluded also in the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. Do you have any comment? People from Marawi, why? What do you think? Why Marawi voted against the 1987 against the 6734 Republic Act 6734? People from Marawi, what do you think why Marawi voted against Republic Act 6734? Iligan is most probably the same reason as Cotabato City, North Cotabato. The Christians there don't like to vote again for 6734. They want to be excluded in the autonomous region. But Marawi, can we hear from people from Marawi who will speak for Marawi why they voted no? Who would like to give an opinion? At that time, Cotabato City is still majority Christian, so they voted no. For North Cotabato, majority Christians. Sultan Kudarat, majority Christians. So immediately, now it is along religious lines and ethnicity lines, you see. So this will be very divisive.
Father, may question.
Yes, Atty. Abido.
Father, regarding dun sa results of the plebiscite nung under the Cory model,
Yeah.
would regionalism between the different groups comprising yung MNLF could have contributed doon sa resulta ng sa Marawi? At that time, I believe the MNLF leadership was dominated by those coming from the Western Mindanao as compared doon sa factions o sa groups na nasa Mindanao and sa Lanao side. I think would yung regionalism within the organization itself could have contributed doon.
Hey, I would like to hear from people from Marawi. You see, I'm from Cotabato. That's why the Marawi people here should speak, you see.
Yes, Father, kasi yung nire-request yung nagkaroon na ng faction na merong Western faction, merong Lanao faction, merong naging...
Actually, during the time of Corazon Aquino, you have already the MILF, so Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and the Salamat. So, but remember that both MNLF and MILF did not participate in that plebiscite. So they did not participate in any plebiscite because there is a disagreement with the Constitution and disagreement with the law. And they always say this is violation of the Triple Agreement of 1976. So I always say that it's not factionalism or regionalism because the MILF as a front both rejected both the law 6734, Republic Act, and the Constitution. To them, the two are in violation of the Triple Agreement of 1976. So, for this reason that ano yung reason of Marawi City for not voting favorably to Republic Act 6734. Kasi klaro man doon sa Iligan, klaro man doon sa Lanao del Norte, klaro din doon sa Cotabato City, at klaro din sa Sultan Kudarat, at klaro din sa Zamboanga. But ang talagang exception because Marawi is majority Muslim, and yet they voted against Republic Act 6734. So, the rest, pwede mo ma-explain na they don't like to be part of that setup.
Thank you, Father.
Sige. Ako, ang aking take dyan is that mali talaga yung... Mali, so sasabihin kong mali na lang. No? So, kasi sa akin, tama na yung ginawa ni Mr. Marcos. Na-set na yun no? Para bang given na. So, you don't revisit something that works. Kasi pag mo ni-revisit yan, you go back to square one, ano? So, ginawa ni Cory, back to square one. Kaya nga, nag-square one din tayo doon sa autonomous region. Yung meron ng tradition, nag-exist na yan from 1978 to 1987, 86. So, parang, ano yun settled na yun. Issues are settled, ano? At least yung 10 provinces and all cities therein. So when you revisit that, yun ang nauwi. Naging 4 provinces, which is very difficult. Now, they want to revisit again the territory. Nadagdagan. That will be under FDR na magiging 5 provinces and all cities therein, including na Marawi City. But yung tinitingnan lang natin, we're trying to find out why Marawi rejected Republic Act 6734. Do you have any answer from Marawi or would you like to have a reason? Sige nga. Sino bang tiga MSU? Sige nga, attorney, ang ating mga judge na nandito. Judge Ishak, would you like to come up with an answer or tentative answer on why Marawi voted no?
Actually, I have no idea, Father, but maybe the political leaders of Marawi and none of these were opted not to join the arm at the time. But in the subsequent election plebiscite, the Marawi City, I think overwhelmingly joined the arm.
Yeah, that is the Republic Act 054 under
Yes, yes.
FDR and Corazon and Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. But kasi malaking reduction, big reduction from 10 provinces to 4 provinces. And
Because, Father, we know that the people of Marawi usually the voters usually follow their leaders. So it maybe the people just considering that maybe they are not familiar with the law, they just leave that to the leaders. So the leaders maybe tell them to vote no, just like what happened in the plebiscite of the BOL. We saw that the yes vote was overwhelming. In fact, it is beyond our expectation. The turnout of votes is very high. That's I think that's all, Father.
Okay, but the only thing during the time of Corazon Aquino, they were appointed by Corazon Aquino, and after that, the election of '87, the all candidates of Corazon Aquino. And then Lanao Sur voted yes. It's only Marawi City that voted no. Most probably the mayor of the power brokers in the city did not agree. So with the Republic Act 6734, hence they rejected 6734. Okay. Who else would like to give an answer? Just Lukman, Attorney Lukman, would you like to say?
This is just my opinion, Father, because I've never voted in Marawi City, and in fact, I've been a resident in Cagayan de Oro since birth. But I think this is just an opinion. I think maybe the political leaders, the mayor, the governor of Ano del Sur, or I mean the mayor of Marawi City is not a political ally of the incoming leaders in the arm. So maybe that's one of the reasons. Because if the leader, if the mayor choose not to join the arm, he can just, yun lang po.
Yeah, that's right. But the presumptions, they were all allies of the national government because they were appointed OIC by Corazon Aquino, and then they won the election in 1987 under Corazon Aquino also. Because the kingpin then during time Marcos will be Ali Dimaporo, that was already outside of the administration. But Lanao del Sur voted yes, you see. So that's however, Lanao del Norte voted no. So these are very important to take note. And then under FDR, Fidel Ramos, only Marawi will rejoin the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao, but Lanao del Norte, including Iligan, will not join anymore. So which is true also with the Republic Act 11054. So that's very interesting. You see, the voting of these provinces and cities vis-a-vis the concrete legislation that created the moral polity. Okay? Any idea again, or who else would like to say something on this particular issue? Attorney Habib. Attorney Habib, you are from MSU. Attorney Habib. Ano yan? Okay, Zane. Attorney Zane. You would like to say something, Attorney Zane, before we proceed to FDR? No? Attorney Bantuas, baka you want to say something.
Sir, I have another thing in my mind.
Yes, go ahead.
For academic purposes, is it may ano ba sir, mayroon bang double allocation sa budget as far as budgeting is concerned? Kasi mayroon tayong sa panahon ni Cory, mayroon tayong Lanao del Sur na governor, at the same time mayroon tayong regional governor, may congressman, at the same time mayroon tayong mga assemblyman. So parang as far as budgeting is concerned, may mga juridical personality sila sa DBM, sa Department of Budget and Management, na lahat sila pumupunta doon, lahat sila may project. So paano yun, paano ba ang nasamayan ko lang, baka naman siguro may double allocation sa mga budget natin sa mga projects. So yun lang yung nasa isip ko, sir.
Okay.
Father.
Bali din ho yun kasi naman the congressman will always have their pork barrel or yung kanilang countryside allocation, and that is always there. It's always a permanent feature in congressional budgetary one. Even now, inclusion naman ho, na di ba? Meron din separate budget yung autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, but noon maliit lang. At that time, it will consist only 9 to 10 billion, ano? Pero for provinces lang, so malaki-laki na ho yun, ano? So, compared to now, it's 72 or 70 billion, ano? So talagang mayroong pang-barrel din yung ating mga assemblyman sa BTA, ano?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, separate budgetary allocation. So, yun, siguro, maring, pero pag nasali ka sa autonomous region, maring maging doble because you have your own congressional allocation and you can have your own allocation in the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. So, depending on your closeness to the regional governor and to the assemblyman, whether they will have their own budget to be discussed at the regional legislative assembly, ang permanent feature, of course, your allocation in Congress as a congressman. Or a
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So yun lang, sir. Father,
Okay.
thank you.
So, sige na. At then, we'll try to finish with the FDR kasi we would like to spend more time in the present reality and then the Islam. Next lecture will be on the Islamic law. Okay. So, we move again. So, wow. Ito ho, more personal sa akin. So, because I've been part of this. So, I've been part of the whole negotiation from the triple agreement to the present, by the way. You know? So, kaya meron akong historical memory. But meron akong more emotional, romantic participation under FDR. Sabi nga nila is that I've been preempted by Ramos. See, because I sat at the whole negotiation and I went through the whole gamut of the transition during the time of Ramos. Nabora daw ako ni President Ramos kaya nakasali ko. So anyway, so we begin with Mr. Ramos to talk again with MNLF. That means to complete the unfinished work with the Moral National Liberation Fund. He would like to give rest to the whole controversy of the triple agreement, you see, that he believed that was not resolved by the previous administration, that will be Corazon Aquino. So precisely, I suppose through the advice of many people, including the military, that it's better to pay attention to the peace process and development and not on war, you see. not on the military solution. So Mr. Ramos started with the creation of the National Unification Commission. That the Philippines is so fragmented. We have so many rebellion. We have rebellion in the north. We have rebellion in the south. And if we continue to have rebellion, and there will be no development, and the government will be very busy fighting the war. So that is perhaps the premise, the background of the peace initiative of Mr. Ramos or General Ramos. That's why he said, perhaps we have to go down to the roots of insurgency, the roots of rebellion in the Philippines. And he created the National Unification Commission, and he appointed a very credible person to lead it. That is the person of former Commissioner Heidi Yora. And then he involved also the major institutions in that whole consultation. In the Christian side, Mr. Ramos involved the Catholic Bishops' Conference and the National Council of Churches, the Protestant and the Catholic. And then he involved also the Protestant, rather the Muslim ulama, the Ulama League and the Ulama Council of the Philippines. So two big associations of the ulama on the part of the Muslim, and two big associations of the Christians were involved in the National Unification Commission of Heidi Yora. So given this cooperation and partnership with major stakeholders, that will go really nationwide consultation to find the root causes of insurgency and rebellion, because thinking that Ramos would like to give an end, put a stop to all insurgency and rebellion. Kung wishful thinking, at least kasama ako doon sa wishful thinking. Anyway, so of course they identified the oh sorry, nawala. Ano po? Okay. So the first thing that he did was the creation now of what we call OPAP, the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process. And that will continue the work of the National Unification Commission. And then Mr. Ramos declared to engage peace talk to all rebel fronts. All, no exceptions, all. So that means he will talk with the rebellion of the military. Remember, during the time of Corazon Aquino, there were several military coup d'etat. The YOU, Young Officers Union, all kinds of rebellion in the military. And then the NPA, CPP, so he declared that I will talk to all, you see. He will talk to all the factions of this NPA and CPP. He will talk also to all the factions of the Moro Front, that is MN and MI. So the adoption of all-out peace process by Mr. Ramos. Kaya ako nakuha niya sa, we will talk. That means all differences, all conflict, all insurgency will be better resolved in a negotiating table, no longer in the battlefront. This will be the period of the 90s, wherein worldwide now, that the settlement of insurgency and conflict will no longer be in the battlefront, but in the negotiating table. So we are part and parcel of this worldwide trend and movement of solving the Philippine conflict through negotiation. So that's very good. I like that very much myself. So OPAP was created for that purpose. So to take a lead in the peace talks with all rebel fronts, including the military. So Mr. Ramos was able to establish peace with the soldiers who declared series of coup d'etat. Series of coup d'etat against Corazon Aquino. And Mr. Ramos also declared a peace process with the Communist Party of the Philippines, NPA, that Corazon Aquino unsheathed the sword of war, all-out war. So he started the talk again. So this will be concluding with several agreements with the NPA, including the Hague Agreement, and then restarted the talk with the Moro National Liberation Front. And this will be held in Jakarta. I'll be part of this negotiation with the Moro National Liberation Front in Jakarta. So, and then at the same time also maintaining contacts with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. So at all fronts, you see, and this will be under the presidential advisor on the peace process. As you know very well that the we were able to conduct, we were able to conclude, just immediately jump, conclude a peace agreement with the Moro National Liberation Front. Ang tawag pa nga final. Para bang final, this is the end, you see, of the rebellion of the Moro National Liberation Front. That's why the title of the agreement is Final Peace Agreement between the Republic of the Philippines and the Moro National Liberation Front. September 2, 1996, initial September 1. I was part of the initialing as well as the signing of this peace agreement. You see, in Jakarta, in the Presidential Palace of President Suharto, and also in Malacanang in September 2. Kasi naging bahagi ako nitong lahat na ito. So I was there. I was present. I was accompanying my good chairman, Nur Viswari. Okay. So, and then the transition, this will be part of all any kind of agreement like the transition that we have now in the BARMM, 3-year transition period, and the creation of the Zone of Peace and Development with two powerful bodies, supposedly, the SPCPD, the Mindanao, Southern Philippines Zone for Peace and Development, and then the 81-member Assembly of the Consultative Assembly, so CA. Para ito yung quasi-legislature, yung quasi-executive. I was part of the Consultative Assembly. Both are headed by Nur Miswari. I was the floor leader of the Mindanao Assembly, CA, 81 member. I was elected by unanimously and appointed by Nur Miswari to lead the Consultative Assembly. So that's part of my failure, part of my history, part of the whole transition. Anyway, so that is the first phase. And during that first phase, we will pour development funds because the language uses intense development, you see, for the whole Southern Philippines under the Zone of Peace and Development. For me, I thought that it was very novel, that no longer you think of geography along political lines, provinces. So this time around, it is a new paradigm wherein you think of zones. You see, that is special zone. I'm parcel of developing that idea of zone. So I was a dreamer. So zone, special zone. So get rid of these provinces that are arbitrary. As you know very well, creation of provinces are very arbitrary. And you know that you are tied together. The borders are very fluid. So it is to hold on to the political boundary will be holding on straw. So we are all connected, we're all tied together. So we thought that will be actually Joel and myself thought of creating a zone. General Almonte and myself, you see. Na, no, the first time, don't think of political but economic. By creating a special zone that will bridge borders, you see, bridge borders. Say, for example, North Cotabato and Maguindanao. Maguindanao, Sultan Kudaran, Lanao Sur, Lanao Norte, or the Zamboanga and Davao. So these are all arbitrary territory, or North Korea, South Korea, that's all arbitrary territory. So that tied, you see, economy is tied. Goods and commodities and people move from one territory to another. So unless, of course, you have iron curtain, or you have the wall. But we don't have wall, so that means we don't have the curtain parallel. So that means people move, goods move. So that's why the future of Cotabato and the future of Maguindanao, or the future of Lanao Sur and Lanao Norte, or the future of Zamboanga, the future of Sulu and Tawag are all interconnected. You cannot divorce one province from the rest. You see, that is the whole idea of zone. We have to develop all. You see, so and it is also in that time also that Mr. Ramos created in Mindanao what we call the corridor. Wow, corridor. Ito mga sabi corridor here, corridor there. That's why people smiling, you know. The economic development, part and parcel of the zone is to connect all these provinces. So Mr. Ramos, not because I'm fascinated by Mr. Ramos, but he started constructing all the provinces being connected. That means major infrastructure in the highway. Connect all these provinces. Build bridges, you see, physical bridges, you see, that separate them. Highways and byways to connect them. And then part and parcel of this building will be creating the development corridor. So you have the Iligan, Cagayan, De Oro development, or actually Marawi, Iligan, Cagayan, De Oro development corridor. You have the Cotabato, Digos development corridor. You have the Cotabato City, Maguindanao, Coronadal, General Santos corridor. There are 3 corridors. Actually, include also the Surigao connecting into Davao corridor. So it was a beautiful plan, a corridor connecting all the provinces. And but specifically for Southern Philippines, a zone of peace. The zone of peace will be the 13 provinces actually, the 13 provinces or the 10 provinces, the Moro province created by the American. As I've told you, the past keep on recurring. That issue is still alive, you see. You cannot separate other parts of Mindanao from the mainland Mindanao. So we are all connected. So development also will be connected. We are all tied to one another. So that is the special zone. But that will be coordinated body. All these are coordinated bodies. The only body will be the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao, consisting of 5 provinces and the cities therein. The second phase of this will be the creation and the passage of the new law. I thought they will be able to pass that coordinating bodies to remain. Eh, hindi ho nangyari ho yun. That means it ceased upon the legislation of 9054. So, but that will happen during the time of Royo Macapagal Arroyo. During the time of Ramos, it still be the SPCPD, the Special Zone, and the 81-member Consultative Assembly, plus the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. So the hope is not in the Autonomous Region Muslim Mindanao. The hope then will be on the Special Zone of Peace and Development that rather will emphasize on the whole Mindanao and also the whole Southern Philippines, that will be the old Moro province. But that did not prosper. So, okay. Do you have any question? The 9054 became the end product of the peace process under Ramos, but as you know very well, it is not actually the end, but it creates more confusion. You see, that the goal then will be to institutionalize this special zone, but that did not happen. So 9054, Republican 9054, become the organic act for the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So you kiss goodbye the Southern Philippines Council for Peace and Development, the Consultative Assembly, and the Special Zone. So it became the new charter, the new organic law will be Republic Act 9054, the predecessor of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, Muslim Mindanao. President Aquino will declare the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao as experiment as a failed experiment. I don't know if you will agree with Benigno Aquino, President Pinoy, but his assessment for the whole autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao from the time of his mother to the time of his presidency, that whole experiment was a failed experiment. So that will be the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. I do not agree with that conclusion anyway, but at least that is the conclusion of the national government. Okay, do you have any question? Who would like to say something? Anything? Oh, who would like to say? Who would like to speak? So actually, we have done yung immediate antecedent of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region Muslim Mindanao until Republic Act 9054. Okay? Any question? Or who would like to say something? Or those people in Mindanao, they can say something because they are part and parcel of the historical processes too. Oh. Okay. Sige na po. Okay na po. I will conclude here because pagod na rin kayo, pagod na rin ako. Kaya pagod na tayong lahat. So until we meet again sa the same time, that will be, the next session will be March 6. Okay ho ba? March 6. Meanwhile, I'll give you the reading requirements. The first reading requirement will be Bangsamoro Reader. That will be the journal of published by experts from the University of the Philippines. There are several articles written on the whole background that we have tackled in this first lecture. That will be a mandatory reading. Okay, and you can choose one article there that you would like to develop, and you can write a paper, a 5 pages. You see, 5 pages, not more than 5 pages, huh? 5-page paper. Huwag more kasi napakahirap, napakarami nga. It will be very difficult to read them. So 5-page paper, you can pick up any article in that Bangsamoro Reader, okay? That will be the whole background that I've tackled in this first lecture. Okay, do you have any question? Yes, Attorney Habido.
Paano yung sa Bangsamoro Reader na mga articles, will we be given the link or the site kung saan pwede mahanap yun?
Sure. Actually, you can already go to Google and find that Bangsamoro Reader. That's the title, Bangsamoro.
That is published by UP Diliman, UP.
But I have it already, so I can forward it to you. But the only thing is too heavy, you know? So I would like to, okay.
How about yung submission ng 5-page paper na parang reaction paper regarding any article, Father? How do we submit the paper?
You can send it to me by email, okay? My email is june.mercado@gmail.com.
Thank you, Father.
Okay. I-type mo nga yun. Okay. Okay. And by the way, you can send also all your email to that email that I have so that I can include you to the Bangsamoro Peace Blackboard, okay? So send all your email to my email. Okay.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you very much. So, okay, I think we will conclude. Okay, salamat po sa inyong lahat and God bless you sa susunod ho sa March 6. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Father Lem.
Thank you, Father. Thank you.
Wala siya. Father
Thank you,
Lem.
Father.
Thank you. Wala na siya, matagal na siya umalis. Tagal na siya wala, kaya picture lang na yun nandyan. Okay, bye-bye.
Salamat, Father. Salamat.
Salamat po sa inyo lahat. Okay. Ma'am. Ito picture lang niya. Stop there recording.